we have a quorum. Will you guys stand and pray with me? Lord, we thank you for the city. We thank you for the privilege as the mayor and the commission to represent the people and to do what's best for the city. And I ask that you give us and the leadership in the city wisdom, that you bless our town and the people in it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. The consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Second.
Everybody?
Yes.
McCaslin?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Chapman?
Yes.
All right. Passes. Remarks. At this time, we're going to open it up for remarks or inquiries by the audience, not pertaining to any item on the agenda. You want to stand up here?
I talked to the code enforcer and he's gonna help me out. I live up across the street on Kern Street, where that big mess is up there. And it's a fire hazard, it's awful.
What is it?
You wanna pass them around?
I haven't been up north.
I don't know where she gets all this stuff. And he came up there and told her to put it away, and she did. But then the next morning, she pulls it all back out.
Is this the free stuff?
Uh-huh.
I
don't
noticed
even
earlier
have
there
to
was
see
like
it.
piles of bread.
Yes,
Up there
there's,
on the table.
there's
Just
3
one.
tables up there right now of bread and sweet rolls and all that sitting up there. And it'll sit there. So that's what I'm complaining about.
Well, thank you.
I've been
I was
watching
gonna
it.
say, everybody knows.
You see them, Mark?
Yes, I've got numerous
Everywhere.
texts about that place.
Yeah.
All right, any other remarks, audience? Okay, we're gonna move on to item 6, discussion and possible action regarding approving or rejecting the bid of Jam Construction for the wastewater district. I'm on the wrong meeting, aren't I?
I was like, wait a
Sorry.
minute. I was like, we're on number right.
Where did it go?
Feeling very confused.
And now I've lost it. Just 1 second. Here it is. Okay. Okay, yeah, there we are. We're on item 5, the financial report for July by the city manager.
In front of you, y'all have the August financial report. Our sales tax for the month of August is $48,305, so it's 0.7 less than last month. Our use tax is $11,161, 14% higher than last month's. The alcohol tax is $7,415, which is down by 12% from last month. Our franchise tax, $684, which is way down. I do wanna say I don't think that we have everything entered, so that could be that problem. The other revenues, $60,868, again, that's the $55,000 check we received from either Purple Wave or something, so that went into our other revenue. That's why that's extremely high, which is great. Fines are $2,097, which is up by 49% from last month. We did our transfers in this month, our easement payments this month. Those amounts will always remain the same. It's $96,000, and then the easement is $14,750. Miscellaneous items are cemetery licenses, rent, animal control fees, court costs if we receive those, records costs, so we had $5,656. Our total of revenues for the month of August is $247,568, and our expenses are $216,320 in our general fund, which leaves us $31,248 in the positive. So that's great. Our water revenue for August is $85,000, which is up from July, and $3,782 for the system rehab fee in the water, and it's 0.5% less than last month. Electric is $345,000, which is increased by 80% from the month before. The wind power is 55,000. It's an increase. Everything in the green is great. Everything in the red is not, just so you guys know. But sanitation is 37,998. It's about a 2.4% decrease. Overall, in the MUA side, the revenues are $557,635, and our expenses are $418,271, which gives us a positive $139,000 for the MUA side. Cash on hand is $534,000, and that doesn't include any CDs or savings that we have.
How come the revenues are up so much from the month before?
So remember, last year in our budget, it's going to be very hard to read because we only had limited line items last month. It was not broken
Oh, I
down.
see.
Remember the?
So we're still getting
Yes,
a
we will see that all year long.
Okay.
So I'll try to kind of show it better of what the actual number was, but it's so hard to, because it's all piled into one line
Mhm.
item.
So
On-
next year it'll be more comparable than it is
Yes,
right
ma'am.
now.
Yes.
Any other questions? Thank you, Irma.
Mhm.
Item 6, police report. Chief Taylor?
Good evening. We'll start off with our calls. We had 427 calls for service. Out of those 427, we had 1 accident, no injury, 9 alarm calls. There was 6 of them that were business, and there was 3 of them that were residential. We had 10 disturbances between domestics and regular fights. We had 5 extra patrols, another fight, no weapon, assisted with 5 fire calls, 179 calls for information, 4 intoxicated individuals, 3 EODs, 1 missing person, 2 noise disturbances, 10 reckless drivers, 2 repos, 2 shots fired or heard, 2 stolen properties, suicide threat, 7 suspicious individuals, 3 suspicious vehicles, 2 threats of bodily harm, 4 trespassing, 6 welfare checks. Out of all that, we ended up with 19 reports. Out of those 19 reports, we had 3 burglary, breaking and entering, 2 theft from motor vehicles, a missing person, the mental cases, the EODs, 3 of those, as I said earlier, 1 unattended death, and 4 warrants were served. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Question for you all.
Mhm.
Do you all want this in paper in front of you so you can follow along, or is the format that I'm doing fine with you?
That's fine.
I think it's fine too.
Okay.
Thank you. Item 8, fire report for September.
How's everybody?
Good.
I gave y'all some papers. I'll go over those in just a second. For the month of September, we ran 14 total runs. 6 helicopters, 3 grass fires, 2 alarm calls, 2 wrecks, and 1 medical assist. Just to let y'all know, we did receive the Community Fire Assistance Grant, the 80/20 grant, for $20,000 for bunker gear.
Sweet. Awesome. Congratulations.
The papers that I gave y'all, The first one is a comparison from 22, 23, and this year on the types of runs and the total runs that we ran. There's some major differences in some of those. If you'll notice, the helicopters and lift assists, when we had everything going on with EMS, there was a lot of assistance there. I know I've had some questions. Michelle, I know you had asked me about the Golden Age. There's a page on there that shows for the year how many times we've been to the Golden Age apartments here in town and what it was for. And then there's a page on helicopter runs for the year at the hospital. And if the second page gives you the total amount of runs and the total amount of time we have spent setting out there. So, any questions?
Looks like we need to spend some time educating on cooking.
Yes.
The Golden Age Department.
Yes.
I think I'd ask you, do we bill them for all the, I think.
We do
I
not.
saw-
There are here in city limits, but we may need to sit down and have a discussion
'Cause I know.
at some time.
There was times where I
Yeah.
could look out and see them,
Yeah.
y'all there several
Sometimes
times
it's 2 or 3
day.
times a week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Is it an alarm that goes off?
yeah,
Or-
yeah, just smoking or
Yeah.
burning popcorn or whatever. And it may be, like Brian said, 2 or 3 times a night at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning.
And it's just their fire alarms going off?
Just the fire
Not
alarms going
actual
off.
fires, but the fire alarms going off,
Yes.
so they call?
Yeah. The alarm company automatically calls.
Okay, they have it set
Yeah.
up that way, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Can they have it set up where they call them first and ask if it's an actual emergency or if they need assistance?
No, it's an automatic.
I know the manager, I can find out.
The way those things work, they get the call through the alarm company automatically calls dispatch.
Yeah. Just like United, the hospital, the nursing home.
Because like my
Yeah.
alarm at home, they try to contact me first
Right.
and give me so much time to say yay, nay,
Yeah.
or if I don't answer or whatever, but
Yeah, we got several here in town that go straight to
dispatch.
dispatch.
I think part of it too is because they have the elderly there, then
Yeah.
Yeah.
have to go straight to the fire department. I think that was part of what they had going on. They also had some alarm panel issues, which has also been fixed.
Yeah. It's gotten better. Like I said, if you look at the paper, it's down from last year. So,
Good.
but yeah.
Thank you for that information.
You're very welcome. Thank y'all.
Okay, item 9, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-1101, accepting and amending the FY 2025 budget for the PD Grant Revenue Fund for the Marathon Petroleum Grant in the amount of $1,875 and the GM First Responders Grant in the amount of $2,500.
Lance, that's yours.
I'm sorry. Turn them up. I was in La La Land. Which one is this one again?
Both grants, 1875
That's
and
both of them?
2500.
Okay, the 1875 grant is specifically for protective gear, and we're going to order 4 more sets of these, and then with the money that's left over, we're going to get IFAC. IFAC kits are individual first aid kits. In case we have a situation where we have a mass casualty, we can start rendering aid immediately. And if there's anything left over with that, then we were looking into a ballistic shield. That's kind of here or there. The reason why ballistic shields, I'm not that excited about it, is because it requires a lot of training and a lot of manpower, and one person that's on shift by themselves can't use it efficiently. So I would rather use that money for something else. The 2,500 is specifically for anything law enforcement related, and since we were already looking into using money for radios and for body cams, We're just going to go ahead and see exactly what all that it is that we need, and we're gonna roll that money straight into that.
Good deal.
Any
That's awesome.
questions? Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll
Second.
vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Item 10, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-1001-02, amending the FY 2025 budget and accepting 2150 plus the amount of 8130 for a total amount of $10,280 from Purple Wave auction to the city's surplus revenue fund, then transfer and expense the 2150 as follows: 400 to the hospital and 1750 to parks.
That's still part of the Purple Wave. It's just amending our this year's budget and putting it in the proper departments. $400 of that goes to the hospital.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Claims to the hospital, so I abstain.
Item 11, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-1001-03, amending the FY 2025 budget for the SWOTA Grant Revenue Fund for the Rural Fire Operational Grants in the amount of $10,017.32 and transferring to Fire Grant Expense Fund.
The operational grant is what we get every year from the state. Last year it was 9,000 and something, so this year it went up a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second.
vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Item 12, discussion and possible action to allowing hunting on city property that is south of town off the river requested by the game warden. This was brought up to me by the game warden that lives on, I can't remember his name, Oklahoma. He was interested in hunting the land south of town where the dump used to be. And we didn't know what the best way, I had talked to Irma about it, what the best way to go about getting that opened back up if we wanted to or if we don't want to.
Well, Corey said that we needed to get him in on this call,
Okay.
so I'm gonna go ahead and call him. He's available by phone. He's at a conference, so.
Do we know what the purpose of them wanting to hunt on this land? Is it just personal use for the game warden,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like, is it?
I think he just wanted to.
Mr. Kendall,
Yes.
I have you on for line item number 12, discussion of possible action allowing hunting on city property that is south of town by the river, requested
Okay.
by the game warden, and it is for personal use.
Yes.
Okay, so that's gonna have to be bid out because we used to lease that out, but we closed it down for lease because sinkholes were developing. And so if it's for individual use, that's something that if we want to have the option of doing that, we would have to let people bid on the opportunity to lease that property.
And what did he say? What was the reason it was closed down before?
Does that make sense?
Sinkholes.
Yes.
Sinkholes, I heard
Okay.
sinkholes.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we just have to put it up for bid if that's what we decide to
Okay.
do.
Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and leave you on for the.
Okay, that's fine.
Corey, what are your thoughts on that as far as liabilities to the city? I mean, I know they could pay a lease, but like, what happens if, you know, they shoot a worker up there trying to unload limbs or something? I mean, what's the liability look like for us? Did we lose him?
Did you hear her?
No, I didn't.
Commissioner Peterson's asking what the liability is if he's hunting and he accidentally shoots somebody or one of our workers. What's your recommendations and what's the liability on it?
I mean, arguably, we would be indemnified basically by the landowner, but just because we'd be indemnified doesn't mean that we won't be included in any potential lawsuit or anything like that. But ideally, like I said, it'd be one of those deals where they would be something that they would have to cover us in case something happened. But our concern more was the fact we was afraid, somebody goes out, because when we used to lease it, people were on scouts, and so it's not a dump site, so there's a good chance, sinkholes were developing. And the other question that we had is what would happen if, let's say, for example, someone was going through there and the sinkhole developed and damaged their truck or even a person, so that was our concern, and that's why we kind of shut it down. If somebody's using it for an intended purpose, they're going to have some liability, and there's been some strengthened laws as it relates to hunting to protect owner and landowners, but it'll still be something that we have to consider, I guess, if it's worth that risk.
Any other questions?
What is your opinion and his as far as, is it worth the risk? What did we make, like, for someone leasing it?
So, the mayor's asking what our opinion is and if it's worth it, and what did we make as far as leasing?
It was like for 3 years at a time is when we leased before, and it was like hundreds of dollars. I mean, it was like maybe $300 a year or something like that.
Dang, that's cheap.
Is what people leased it at before.
It's like $3,000 or $5,000 a year now. Like $300, yeah, I bet they did want to hunt out there.
El Dorado leases out some of the land that they have for basically farming purposes, and it's really like, it was like $300, and then so it's not a very lucrative thing.
Yeah, okay. That's it, I don't have any.
Okay, so no other questions, but I'm just gonna keep you on for just a second.
Okay, that's fine.
I've received a few calls about this situation, about the people that have the surrounding areas,
That don't want it.
and they're not thrilled about it.
I'll be honest, I think with the liability risks and it's not profitable, the liability risk for the city, it's not worth it.
Is this the same property that they were wanting to do the shooting range?
No, I think that was across the road.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, leasing it for cattle or something different, but hunting is a whole different monster. I don't know. I don't think we need that as a city. I think
For $300 too, it's not worth.
well, and I doubt very, very highly he's gonna wanna spend thousands of dollars
Right.
a year for a hunting lease, so.
So do we just want to take no action? Is that the best way?
So, should we vote or take no action?
What do y'all want to do?
I say no.
We'll go ahead and vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will make a motion to, what?
Not accept?
Not accept the game warden's proposal.
Okay, second,
Second.
vote.
Huckabee?
Yes, because I'm denying it.
Yes.
Yes.
McCaslin?
Yes.
Peterson? Yes. Chapman?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Item 13, discussion and possible action to consider accepting additional grant money from FEMA for additional administrative costs during the February 2021 winter storm in the amount of $1949.58. So, Billy called me about this grant. I believe that we've received in the past, and so he's here to clarify and answer questions about if we want to receive it or not.
Yeah, I'm Billy Sizemore with the Oklahoma State Department of Emergency Management. So y'all, this was on a disaster on 4587. Y'all have already received $59,000 for emergency protective measures for Project 96. And you've received, for public utilities, for the CAT-F, you've received $28,357.20. So what was left, there's 3 projects on when we do a project, and the last part of the project is your CAT-Z, which is your administrative cost. So how they figure the administrative cost is 5% of the total project that you've already been awarded for. The administrative cost, that can be the city clerk, having to handle all the paperwork, supervisors going out with the FEMA officials and looking at, when they were coming out and looking at the disaster. It can be your supervisors taking us around to take pictures when we do the small project closeouts. So the money for the Cat Z is just money that y'all have already paid your admin fees. So basically, there's $4,800 and $4,874.38 that y'all are eligible for your Cat Z projects. You don't have to, you have to prove that y'all paid your admin that much money. So if y'all can only come up with, so right now, we have $1,949.58 that y'all have sent in for proof of how much the admin was. I did visit with the state, and we have not, since we have not signed the agreement yet, you can go after the other $3,000 if you would like to. I'd be happy to come down, sit with the city manager and try to locate any of that in any of the files. It's just gonna be administrative cost, so.
Is that so we're gonna reapply for the FEMA grant to get that, or it's just, we can prove it, you send us a check?
Yeah, if you prove it. So basically, the money's sitting there. So Cat Z is when they do a FEMA disaster, they always give you 5% of the total disaster. So, and that's for admin cost. But you still have to prove that the admin did the work. So, I mean, and basically, it doesn't have to be anything major. It could be a spreadsheet in Excel that tells me city manager worked on this grant, this many hours on this day. And then all I have to have is a copy of their timesheet showing they were here and proof of payment that y'all have already paid them. That's really all we need. Or the clerk or the police chief or whoever y'all sent out to go with the FEMA people. So this all starts from the kickoff meeting. The day when we had the disaster, we always have a kickoff meeting with FEMA. And so you want to start keeping your admin cost from that day. If you had an email correspondence back and forth with FEMA, you want to, that can be 15 minutes or 30 minutes for every email. You just want to record that every day. You know, when we have a disaster, we want to always be recording our admin cost, because you get up to 5% of that back.
Now, with the admin that did it, does it go back to that specific person? It doesn't have to be because I was gonna say that all that group of admin is no longer here.
It comes to the city.
It comes
Y'all have already
directly to the
paid,
city. Okay.
y'all have already paid these admin costs out. So this money is coming back strictly to the city, and y'all do with it what you want. In the general fund, I mean, that's up to y'all. That's y'all's money. We're just reimbursing you for the admin cost.
So basically, it's a reimbursement grant that we've already applied for and received. We just need to turn in the receipts.
Yeah, we just need to see proof of receipts. That's
So-
all we've gotta have.
I emailed back and forth with Jackie for a
Yes.
while. I sent her everything that we had. She told me I was missing a lot of stuff as far as what they had done. Again, our admin is no longer here, so all I had was what was already recorded. And she told me I was still missing other stuff as far as timesheets and other things, which I had submitted timesheets, pay stubs, everything that we had available. And she told me that all that she could come up with was the 1949.
I worked on that FEMA, that folder is mine that I gave you that I think Joshua or somebody first approached me with that, but we had the timesheets, we wrote down it was me, Billy, Dave, and Lola who worked on it that time. If something was to get paid to them directly, we didn't. I mean, we turned in our hours, that's in that folder, and that's all we worked. We turned in for the guys that got called out, which was our water department at that time. That's when we had that freeze, I believe. Yes, and everybody was kind of at home, I think, stuck. I think I had COVID when that happened, and I worked from home on that paperwork, and I have emails, but it's in one of our older emails of somebody that I was talking with, where I had to sign off on all that 5%, that whole thing. We put down how many hours we worked, absolutely, on it, but if something was supposed to be paid directly to them, we didn't. We just got paid our regular wages, but if you guys gave that part to the city, that's all we have as far as what we did that day.
Right, yeah.
Whatever we're missing, I don't,
So y'all do get just paid your regular wages, and
Right.
then FEMA reimburses y'all for those regular wages. Just admin, it can't be regular employees. So
Right.
the employees that went out and actually worked,
right.
we don't that's not included for the Cat Z. Only administrative cost can be, yeah.
And she kept asking for some more stuff from the old city manager, the old city clerk, we're all new.
Right.
So, I told her, the only thing I have is what I'm sending you, and I can't just make something up to tell you that it's something it's not. So, I didn't wanna fudge anything, but I sent her everything that I had, and then she also sent it back to me stating that, Dave and Billy needed to sign, and again, I told her they're no longer here.
Right. So where that falls, since the state and local agreement with the state and y'all, before it was with the old city manager, so now it falls on the mayor. Until we do a new state and local agreement and the council gives somebody else permission to sign, it falls on the mayor to have to sign the closeout paperwork. So that's kind of what I'm here today, is we either need to close the grant out, and y'all will get the $1,900 that you have coming to you, that we showed proof that we had, or you are welcome to try to find anything additional, and we'll turn that in to try to get you the full $4,800. That's up to y'all. I just wanted to explain how the grant works. I mean, you're not really applying for anything. It's just there if y'all can show proof that y'all spent that money.
Gotcha. So if they sign that today, it's done, they'll send them a check and that's it.
Yeah, if y'all wanna just continue with the $1,900 closeout, I'll get y'all to sign that today, and we'll send y'all a check for $1,949.58.
Irma, do you feel like there's any way you're gonna come up with anything other than what you've already sent them?
All we have is timesheets.
That's what I'm
All of
saying,
us
so-
clocked in and out at that time,
Okay.
as far as the admin, except for the city clerk. And I believe she's even got it in that file of her hours that she did and Dave's hours that she did. The accounts payable and I that worked on it at that time, we clocked in and out, so that's what we turned in at that time. And how many hours it took for us to get that paperwork together. Because I remember that one and then that COVID one. But as far as anything additional, if something was left out, honestly, I think us being in this new building, our records are all in the old building. The only thing we can do is pull up a report of everything that we had clocked in and out back then, which is what we've turned in.
Okay.
Yeah, wasn't sure if y'all had anything on the old city manager, if he had any time records or any files, but
That was
if it's
submitted.
all in the old building,
What you found is submitted, so.
so,
Yeah, everything that we had was submitted.
So, yeah, and that's entirely up to y'all. I just, we don't like to leave money sitting on the table, because we're gonna have to turn around and send that $3,000 back to FEMA. But, that's fine. If y'all feel comfortable and y'all gave us everything you want, then we can do that too. We just, but I do the reason I'm here today is so that, to let y'all know that we have to have the mayor sign that to be able to close the grant out, since we don't have, the state and local agreement is not with the, old, the old city manager's not here, so. And then if y'all had any other questions, I mean, I'll be happy to answer.
I'll make a motion to just approve the 1949, and then Jackie
I
can
think we're
sign
good.
when it's done.
Second?
I think we're good, so I'll call you if you need something.
Vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for coming down and
Thank you.
explaining that. Item 14, discussion and possible action to apply for CENA funding in the amount of $15,000 to possibly reopen the community mill
Okay,
site.
thank you for.
Mary Jane
even
Scott.
trying to-
Well, I think you guys know about everything, and, just gonna see if you have any questions. And again, one of the main things I wanted everybody to know, it's not just a senior meal site, it would be a meal site for anybody. And I've been checking with, and Carolyn's been working with, some of the other sites. Everybody else is charging money, and I don't know, I love to give stuff away free, But, we got a long road to go, and, this is gonna help. We went in, Carolyn and I went in and we looked at the, meal site building. I know there's an issue about utilities and things like that. We'll have to discuss with everybody, and I'll see if we can spend some of this money on utilities if that's what's needed. But, there's gonna be some things that are gonna have to be, if we use that building. That's just an if, so. Anyway, this will get us started and, towards that. But the money will come here. You guys will have to distribute the money when we give invoices and things like that. I mean, it's all done by the city. And,
Have you checked the roof?
I have not checked it, but I do know about it, and I've
Okay.
visited with Chris about it.
Did either one of you guys ever reach out to the director of the lady at the Southwest Community Alliance over this?
Yes, we had a meeting. It was that Paul meeting, or I don't know if you're familiar with that, but anyway, she was there. And the bottom line is, like we said before, we can't go back and do the Title III like we had before, federal stuff. This is gonna be something that's gonna have to be funded through grants, donations, and people coming in and paying.
Well, and the reason I asked that is because she specifically told me that
Mhm.
this CENA grant, even though it's not the same, under the same deal, it's still regulated the same way. And she said the chances of it being approved are pretty well none.
I was not told that, because
Well, that's what she told me, that I told you guys at the last meeting, we talked about this. Because you
Okay.
guys thought it went through SWOTA, and that's when we told you it went through,
Yeah,
and that's who
that's
I
what
talked
about-
to, and she said they
It's
still
okay.
regulate the CENA grant the same way.
Okay.
And because we've already had an existing mill site, she said they will not approve this because it did not function, and they were in the hole for so many years.
That is not what I was told, but anyway, I'll check that out. I'll double check that, okay?
Just so
And
that way,
because
yeah.
I don't wanna go apply for it
Well,
and then know
exactly,
that I'm not gonna
that's
get
why I'm
it.
asking, and there's no point
Yeah.
in wasting anybody's time to do all the work to apply for the grant if they're
Right.
gonna automatically deny it,
Exactly,
'cause
right,
it can't
right.
go to
I
that.
definitely wanna know that.
Yeah. I think
But
it
anyway.
was, I think it's Gretchen or something along those lines. It's kind of an interesting
Okay,
name.
okay.
But if you just ask to speak to their director, she's super,
You're not talking
super
about,
nice.
you're talking about it SOCAG or SWOTA?
No, because that has
Neither-
nothing to do with,
I know,
no, it's the Southwest Community Alliance.
Oh, Southwest Community
That does all the
Alliance.
mill
Okay.
site stuff, yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll check it out.
Okay.
But if it won't hurt you guys to go ahead and just approve it, because if we don't get it, we don't get it. But it will come to you guys and writing the checks and all that if we use it, if we get it.
So what happens if we do get it, though, and you don't end up opening the mill site?
Well, you'd have to get it back. I mean, you just give it, it's just like anything with the school, when I did all the federal programs at school. If you, you make your application to spend it, but they're gonna wanna see something that's more, this is what we're gonna do, when we apply. Like, we do have a place to be, we do have people that volunteer, we do have this or that. That's all gonna have to be in the grant application, or
And
the
then-
CENA application.
And you said we have to sign, the city manager has to sign off on
Well,
that?
I mean, the city council has to approve just to receive the money. This is what you're doing and I'm gonna write it, but it's really, I'm writing it for the city. And then the city has to take care of the money, I guess, you know, and all that, but, we're gonna try to see how it can work. I don't know. I mean, this isn't even gonna be allowable till 2025 in September, you know, so it's a long ways away. But it's, I was really surprised that a lot of these are being funded by people paying $5 and $7 to eat. And I was shocked because my first thought was I wanna give it to them, but we'll have to see. Because I know they charged here for something.
Well, they can't actually legally charge, it's by donation.
It's
They would
donation, yeah.
ask for like $3, but they said most people never pay. So, I mean,
Yeah.
and if they can't, they can't, but
Right.
they can't
Right.
make them pay, but they
Right.
do ask for donations.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Any more questions?
So no action on it?
No action at this time.
Or we're voting, are we voting?
Do we need to vote so you can just at least
I need you guys
apply?
to go ahead and approve it, but if they say, like Dixie said, if they say that it's not gonna, we can't put it in the apply, but I need your permission to apply.
I'll make a motion, for them to apply for the funding, to reopen the community mill fight.
Second? All right, no second. So what is that?
It doesn't pass.
Okay.
Are there some questions that I need to, I mean, this isn't putting any liability on CDL. You're just asking for me to get some money, or giving me permission to get some money.
I think it's just gotta be discussed too, because we're also putting a lot more on our admin to issue more checks and do those sorts of things. I mean, I know it's a year from now, I know that's only to get the grant, but still, I mean, that's putting more work on our administration as well. That's, I mean, probably one of my biggest concerns, to put us in another situation where we have another building where it's funding, we're funding utilities for it and things like that, and like you said, the roof's not great on it, which it's gonna fall in.
Have to be another place.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to item 15, discussion and possible action regarding approving or rejecting the bid of Jam Construction for the wastewater discharge improvement project in the amount of $323,825. The bid must be approved by October 14th, 2024. However, due to not having an easement approved from the landowner, even if the bid is accepted, we still could not begin work on the project. Clyde?
Okay, the city received $100,000 extra grant, so we thought we had that hurdle, but if you don't have the easements, and we've kept this bid open for 6 months, and by state law, we can only keep it for 6 months. So, the only thing I would know to do is if you wanted to ask you to reject it, and then whatever you find out about the easements later on, we probably go back out for bids again.
What is the, on the easement?
The last conversation that Mr. Kendall and I had, he was working something up to negotiate regarding the easements. They had a lot of trouble to try to get the guy to negotiate. He wasn't budging, so Mr. Myers called our attorney and they tried to work something out to put together to approach, is it Norman? I think that's his name, I'm not too sure.
Chad
but
Norman?
Yes, to try to get something worked out. So as of now, there hasn't been a deal made with him.
Okay, so.
I can ask Corey what the last conversation with the engineer and him were, because like I said, he just called like last week. That's when I think I told you, Clyde, that they were trying to get something worked up. Let me get him.
Well,
I'm sorry, Mr. Kendall, we have you back on
To
regarding,
accept it,
we
yes.
have Clyde here,
In the
and we're
email that she
talking
sent
about
with us, she said it would not
the
be
easement
accepted
and the progress
after
on that.
because it's already
And
been
I let them know that you
accepted.
talked to the engineer and you tried to get something worked out, so.
yeah, we still got, basically, after I talked to the engineer, what the engineer's advised to do is to reject the bid now, which would make us have to go out for more bids, but according to the engineer, that would give us till a little bit more time to get everything put together instead of us trying to get it done in the week, because I think we met with them last Friday, or the Friday before, so it was just recently that we met with, it was actually the Friday before, the landowner. So by rejecting the bid, we missed our October 14th deadline, so we'd have to rebid the project, but we would still have until March 15th, mid-March of 2025, to actually get the project done. So that would let us get the easement put together first, then go out for the bid once we secure the easement, and then hopefully start the project, late this year or early next year.
Is there a concern for the bid being higher?
No, it's just state law, you can only keep a bid for 6 months.
But like if we have to rebid it, do you think that it could be more expensive and then we could be?
It could, or it could be lower.
The engineer suggested that he believes that the bid price will actually come down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what did he say?
The
That's
engineer
what-
is saying that the bid price could possibly come down.
Yeah, he believes that we could probably get a better bid price. I mean, that's what he told me when I talked to him on the phone. I think it was Thursday of last week.
I said it can either go in our favor or it could not,
Yeah.
they didn't budge on this where we had to request more money to try to get them to do the project. So if we deny the bid today and then we rebid, they might not rebid. That's also a possibility. I
That is a
believe they were the
possibility.
only ones who bid in the first place. We had one person who one company that put a bid in. So if we say, oh, we're rejecting your bid, we're gonna have rebid later on, they might not rebid.
I mean, I guess they could defer to.
Yeah, I mean, just not securing that easement before we even went out for this project is really put us behind the 8 ball and really put us in a kind of a weak negotiating position, just quite frankly, because we're kind of at the mercy of trying to do the stuff that should have been done on the front end on the back end, and that's just hard to do.
So we just need to make a motion to reject the bid at this time?
Yes.
Yep. I'll make a motion to reject the bid.
Thank you, Clyde.
Second?
Second.
Thank you, Corey.
Are you done with me again?
Yes.
Yes.
Castle.
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Peterson.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Item 16, discussion and possible action to approve the Parks Department to do a capital improvement to the City Hall admin building to include painting the exterior excluding the brick. Parks Department.
Well, everybody's kind of been cleaning and working away. The guys cleaned the front, if you guys didn't notice. They took
amazing.
off they got rid of all the dead stuff. They're trying to clear everything up. They talked to us about painting the City Hall, just that area where it's starting to fade and kind of, I think once they've got something set up to power wash coming up, and it's probably going to take off the rest of that, but it needs to be cleaned, and the guys are, trying to get stuff done. Thing is, it is city property, and we can't just go start painting everything, like a truck, we can't just go paint the truck because we wanna change colors. So, I think he said as of right now, they wanted to try to take it out of the administration side since it's the admin building, but we do not have that in our budget because we just didn't have it budgeted. They talked with Cody a little bit about maybe using half of their own, Purple Wave money, and then we come up with the other half for the cost of the paint. But they were gonna do the majority of everything themselves.
Do we
So,
know what the cost is? Or not quite?
I think it was around $1,000.
for paint. I mean, I don't want them to, them to come out. I mean, even if we divided it into all the, everybody in here, the police department, the admin
Like
side,
break
the
it up just-
superintendent side, the streets, well, not the streets, but you know, everybody that's in the admin, and we all divide it, that would be fine with me.
Pretty small per department.
They're trying to get everything ready to clean up for Christmas and get it, you know,
Looking nice.
and they're doing a really good job of, you know, trying to clean everything up, and they're
Awesome.
very excited, and I said, hey, it's a city building, I can't even give you permission to start painting. They said, you know, it's not going on any brick, it's just the white, they're just going to reamp that white up, is what they're doing. And they're cleaning up outside, and they tore down the dead trees and everything else. Actually, the electric department helped them out some, so they're all working together to try to, I think they worked with the fire department a little bit, maybe talking about power washing and whatever else they've got going on. I just listen to their excitement and say, hey, you want us to put it on the agenda for approval? I got you. Doesn't mean it'll get approved, but I got you, so, whatever. I wish that we could get, you know, people to donate us some paint, that would be great, but.
So I'm gonna make a motion to approve with you being allowed to decide how the distribution needs to lie. So you guys figure that out, if you wanna pull it per department, talk to the departments, or whatever, however you guys come up with that.
Second,
I'll second.
vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Item 17, discussion and possible action to approve monthly payments due on the 15th of each month in the amount of $8,333.33 paid to Greer County Sheriff's Office for dispatch services as agreed upon in the interlocal agreement.
Well, as everybody knows, Greer County took over the dispatch. Today is their first day, October the 1st, and we got our first invoice for amount of $8,333.33 that will be due on the 15th of each month. So we just need the permissions to be able to pay that out monthly, until, we figure out. I know that the sheriff and I talked about doing monthly payments or paying in full. I suggest that we do monthly payments, until everything kinda settles down with that, so that will be
Next
the
year's
amount.
budget.
Yes, when we start working on next year's budget, so monthly until we work next year's budget in. So it'll be $8,000 a month is what we'll be paying to Greer County.
And that's for the dispatch services, right?
That is for the dispatch service. We have no more dispatch, that the city of Mangum has no more dispatch.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the payment?
I'll
or
make a motion to approve.
Second.
Vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Item 18, discussion and possible action to schedule a meeting to include the city commissioners, Mangum Hospital Board, hospital admin, and Cohesive CEO to discuss any questions or concern about the Mangum Regional Medical Center.
So we've been talking with our audit and our consultants. They visited us a month ago. We're still talking with them now. And just because we have so many new people in place, they suggested that our boards kind of get together and ask how everything is going. Do they need anything? Do we have questions? Do we want anything? Do they need anything? Kind of set up, and our consultants kind of wanna know, like, how often do they meet? How often do they get to talk to each other? How involved is our board with the hospital? Because we definitely need to be in tune of what's going on. And I know everybody's got their own lives and it kinda gets busy. And, so when we have hospital meetings, we all can't be here. So she suggested that we get something set up for our board and their board and just kind of talk and see what are their thoughts, what's going on out there, or what do you need from us, or what do we need from them. And we might not have any questions, but we need to report it to our consultants as well and say, hey, our board's met on this day, and we're gonna meet once a year, once every 6 months, or however often. So, I'm suggesting that we meet in an executive session with the hospital board at their next hospital meeting, if possible, just so nobody has to go out of their way to get out of work or special meetings, it would be a special meeting for us, but we would put ourselves on their agenda to discuss with them everything that's going on. The last Tuesday of the month, the fourth Tuesday of the month.
Okay. It'll be the next to the last.
22nd.
I believe so.
That also helps with when they start asking us about the hospital audits. When is it due? Have we talked to them? Are they aware? Because they now, I believe, have a new CEO than with the CEO we had when, we took over, or they took over, so it's just double checking what's going on and making sure everybody's on the same page pretty much.
So you just need to make
If
a
we
motion
can-
to approve so you can put us on their agenda?
To meet with their board.
Can everybody make it that day?
I can.
The 22nd?
Yes. Yes.
Is it the 22nd this month?
It is.
Tuesday.
I will say we won't be voting on anything. It is just going to be a conversation. What's going on? Bring us your financials, just so we can everybody can look at everything. It's just a recap with the hospital and us, as we should be, a lot more in
Sure.
tune with everything that's going on. And
You three could be here?
Well, he abstains from the hospital, right, so he won't be at that meeting either, because he works there, so it's a conflict of interest.
And my suggestion is, since that, I would write down, get with the mayor, or send us an email, send Cody an email and say, these are some things that you guys should bring up that day, or
Questions,
anybody's, if
concerns.
you're not gonna be available, questions and concerns that you may have, that we can bring up together in that meeting that night. We're not voting on anything, we're just gonna sit down and recap.
So is it enough for just the three of us to be there?
Yeah, it's just so you guys can, we'd have to list it as a special meeting. We would need at least 3 commissioners for a quorum, so Judith won't be able to.
But if Mark can't also, then that's just 2 commissioners?
Yeah, we would need Judith there. We won't be voting on anything, though. So, but we won't, to call our meeting to order.
Well, how about this, I'll make a motion for you to schedule a meeting based off of us being able to make it work, whether it ends up being a special meeting or putting this on their agenda, so. you
And
kinda
they
just
could
let us
probably give
know,
us, we don't
send
even
us
have to
some
show
dates
up.
if we
That was
have
my
to.
suggestion, is to
Okay.
show up at their meeting and to be on their agenda,
I'm
so
sure they
we
would
don't put them
appreciate that
out.
too, I doubt they very highly wanna have extra meetings either, but see what we can do.
Sounds good. A second?
I'll second.
Vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Abstain.
Item 19, discussion of possible action to review and approve new contracts for folding and inserting machine due to the contract with Pitney Bowes for the current folding and inserting machine that ended September 30th, 2024 with sign a new contract.
Well, we've used Pitney Bowes for a long time, and when we were in Old City Hall, we had the same folding machine that processes our bills. It's just one of them big, huge machines. You put our bills in there, and it folds everything up and puts everything together, and it's all nice and pretty, and then we put it in the mail and we go on about our business. Ever since we got that new machine, which is an upgraded machine from when we moved over there to move over here, in probably a year, we've hand-folded, let me repeat that, we have hand-folded every utility bill. Fire department can tell you, everybody
hands on
has to
deck.
come in, stop doing what they're doing, and hand-fold these bills, because our machine jams up, nothing moves, nothing rolls, nothing, and so we have fought and we fought and we fought, and they can't come out here, and we can't do this, and it's a mess. So the clerk and I went to, conference, and here we are with this company. I'm gonna let her talk a little bit about it, because, she spoke with them, but I will say that Pitney Bowes, our contract ended on September the 30th, but they're waiting for our meeting and to make a decision of what we're gonna do. before they take us off
So
of
you
being
said they
online.
can't come down here, like they
Well-
can never make it work, or they just don't come down here to
Well, when
maintenance
you
their
call
equipment?
Pitney Bowes, you get a 1-800 number, and then you have to put in a ticket, and we can't wait 2 or 3 days for somebody to come down here and help us with bills, because we have to have them out by a certain date.
Right.
Because then if not, then you're
And you
giving
don't know it's
people
jamming
certain.
until you start doing it, so.
And I mean, we've torn that apart so many times. These guys will come, they will tell you, we've tore it apart, we've looked in there, we've looked for where it's stuck, we've tried different things, we tried not to put inserts in, we've tried different paper. This last time I said, ladies and guys and employees, this is the last time we're gonna have to manually fold these bills. It's so much, and everybody leaves with paper cuts and exhausted, and we take everybody out from out there, or we'd still be folding bills. And, I just don't think that we're getting the promptness that we need. We've tried to schedule Pitney Bowes, hey, we do bills on this day, we're going to wait. We want you to see what this machine does when you're not here. They hand-folded bills the last time that they were here. Those 2 guys were doing bills as well. Ordered a part, put it on for us, and it's doing the same thing. So
How
their
much is
next
this contract?
option is, well, we've got this nice
New
upgraded
machine.
new machine that's now going to be $3,000 a month instead of the $1,500 that you're currently paying right now. It's
That's
state of the art, and I said, this one is state of the art. This is 2 years old.
And
We've
never
only been in
worked.
this building for 2.5 years, and we probably hand-folded them more than it's actually worked. So I said, that's enough. It's taken us off of doing everything else. Everybody has to stop because we have to get bills out. When we call 1-800 numbers, it takes a long time to get people here. I believe, like I said, I'm gonna let Cody talk about this. She's been talking with the sales manager with this company, and so I'll let her.
So I did talk to the gentleman at Summit. He had actually reached out to me just before, they had to handful the bills. I actually was not here for that, so I'm very thankful. But, he reached out to me. He assured us that, the paper thickness would not be an issue, which is what Pitney Bowes kept saying was an issue. We changed it. It continued to do that. Prior to Summit reaching out to us, Pitney Bowes had sent us a, quote for a lesser machine, so that's why this is there. So I went ahead and included that. And they did not want to give me a additional quote until we figured out if we were going to continue using our inserts or what we were gonna do. So this is all we have from them. It is less than what we were previously paying. It is also less than the other machine, but it only does just the one bill. This will do the bill, the insert, and an additional sheet if we have it. And, he said that if we decide to move forward with this, that he could put in a rush order and have it here hopefully within 2 weeks before we have to do bills again. And it is actually cheaper than what we're currently paying on the machine we have. Not by much, but a little bit.
After looking at all of that and talking to everybody, what's your recommendation of what to do?
My recommendation would be to switch. I mean, it sounds to me like this has been an ongoing issue even before I started. And they've come out twice since I've been here. And they turn a little knob here, turn a little knob there, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's fixed. And it's not. So,
And it's so stressful and scary when we have to pay those bills like that, because you know, we have to have them out at a certain time. After 2 o'clock, the post office won't take them. So it's so stressful, and I just told them, I said, listen, this is the last time we're going to do this because it happens so often. And if my electric team was here, they would tell you, everybody comes inside and starts folding. And we shouldn't have to do that. If we're paying this much money a month for this, it should work. Out of the 2.5 years, I think I asked them for a report of how many times we've called them and had to be out here. I know it's more than 15 times in 2.5 years, and we got a $300 credit in that whole time. And that's because I said, we're not going to pay you this next time. We should not have to be doing this. And, you know, the bills are important. That's what pays our bills. So unless we have somebody who just folds all day long, we need this machine. So, and it's gonna save money, like, the clerk said, it's cheaper. The one that we have right now, they wanted to give us a newer one for double the money. If not, she's saying we have to downgrade, that will only fold one at a time. And this is still cheaper than what we currently have right now, that's gonna do everything that machine does in the back.
Awesome.
Well, I tell you, we had a Pitney Bowes, toasted machine, and it was the same thing, jammed up every time, and we have recently went to Summit, and they're amazing. Their
Nice.
customer service is amazing, they,
Listen, I called him Friday morning, right after that happened, and, I mean, within 2 hours, I had a quote ready. He sent over the contract before the end of the day. He was great.
Awesome.
I'll make a motion to approve the new contract.
Second,
Second?
vote.
Huckabee,
yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
All right, at this time, we'll open it up for remarks or inquiries by governing body members, city manager, attorney, or city employees.
Yes, I am going to let our code enforcement officer, if nobody knows our new code enforcement officer, this is Lynn Youngblood.
Hello.
And you've been with us for what, 4 or 5 months now?
About almost 5 months.
So he handles our animal control and our code enforcement. So I'm gonna let him give you guys a little rundown of his day.
Just to give you a report from September. For code enforcement, sent out a total of 7 warnings, 9 notices of nuisance, set up 3 properties for dilapidation to be demolished, declared abatements on properties were 9. Total properties cleaned and mowed just by code enforcement was 3. Filed 1 lien against the property. Properties cleaned and mowed due to warnings themselves was 5 taken care of. Since July, we've sent out 30 warnings, 18 notices of nuisance, 3 dilapidations, 13 abatements. 6 properties have been cleaned by code enforcement, total of 6 liens. Properties cleaned and mowed just due to warnings since July was 22. We've demolished 3 properties already since July. And the animal control, we did have an issue out at the shelter. We had euthanized 28 dogs, and we were off work for about a week. Shelter is back open now, and we've had a total of 77 dog calls, dogs running loose, traps, and all kinds of stuff like that since July. But, yeah, that's a report just on my side of things. Any questions on anything?
How do you feel like it's going?
It's a nonstop headache. But I'm getting there. I'm getting it there. I
And
guess.
tickets and stuff like that, you feel like that's going?
Yeah. On the dog side of it, yes. Code enforcement side of it, it's a little more hectic because that kind of goes towards civil and it kind of goes to a whole nother racket.
You're getting people's attention, I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
You're
like
making
you,
a
but it's
difference.
okay. I'm here to clean up the town, so I'm constantly busy. And in the month of September, all those warnings and notices nuisance were just sent out in one little section of town. I'm going now around monthly to different parts of the neighborhood, walking and going through everybody's property, doing it. So you're gonna see some changes, and I'm gonna be really busy. Just bear with me.
You're doing great.
Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Yes, and that is something that I wanna add into that. You know, he's just one person, so it's so hard for him to get into our community that didn't get, some areas didn't get like this overnight.
Mhm.
And, I mean, we call him all day long. We text him all day long. We say, hey, somebody's here to see you all day long. What about this house all day long? He's one person, and our budget's only got one person. So it's very hard. We've sat down, him and Steve and I sat down and tried to figure some things out, what to do, how to get him some help. What can we do as a community to also, we've tried to launch an email address that failed. We put something where the community could email us and say, hey, can you look at this, just so we can put it on his desk so to save some time. We're gonna have nuisances up front. If somebody wants to fill out a nuisance complaint, wants to remain anonymous, come up front, get a paper, drop it back off into our Dropbox. call us, anything that we can do to help. I said the same thing, even our police department, I mentioned the other day, you're out patrolling all day long. If you see an address, you don't need to do anything, write it down, give it to him. Email us daily, I seen this house, this house, this house, it helps him. It helps him from having to go out, having to walk, or he's filing something at the courthouse, these guys drive around all day long, even if the fire department sees something and they need us. And it's a code enforcement, it's a violation, let us know and we will look into it. But it's very hard for one person to go and handle every single property in this town. So, we talked with our meter readers the other day, y'all are out at the addresses every day. Let us know an address that you need him to go check, whether it's animal, even if it's a fire. If we went to go read a meter and there's a fire there, we're not gonna say, oh,
I'm not calling the fire department.
I'm not gonna call the fire department, they can wait until they come. Same thing with code enforcement. If it's an issue and it's a problem, let us know. Anything we can do to get him an address and get him some help, he will go check it. If he doesn't go and check it, I promise you, Steve Kyle will go check it. And then have something in a folder for him to come back to. So, we're trying to make a difference, but it is very hard with the one employee that we have. I wish we could have a handful. And I definitely wish we had the equipment to make to do this, because also they need equipment and to get stuff done, so there you have it.
You're definitely making do with what you have. It is impressive what y'all are doing.
And much appreciated.
Yes.
Very.
Even though you probably don't get that side of it. I know,
Good.
that's why you're so good at it.
For sure. All right, any more new business?
I think so.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
A second.
Vote?
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Adjourned. Okay, moving on to the MUA. Call the meeting to order with a roll call, please.
Huckabee.
Here.
McCaslin,
Here.
Manasco,
Yes.
Peterson,
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. The consent agenda, a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Second.
Vote?
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
All right, remarks or inquiries by the audience not pertaining to any item on the agenda. Okay, item 6, discussion of possible action regarding approving or rejecting the bid of JAM Construction for the wastewater discharge improvement project in the amount of $323,825. The bid must be approved by October 14th, 2024. However, due to not having an easement approved from the landowner, even if the bid is accepted, we still could not begin work on the project.
I'll make a motion to reject the bid.
Second,
Second.
vote?
Huckabee,
Yes.
McCaslin,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Did you ask me?
Manasco.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay. Staff and board remarks. Remarks or inquiries by the governing body members, city manager, city attorney, or city employees.
I did have an all-employee meeting, last week, and we had a taco bar, and we invited Michelle, Commissioner Huckabee, I'm sorry, to attend. So she was here, and, every employee was here, and we all brought food, and I made the meat, and the guys, our fire department got all the tortillas, and we had a little taco bar, and we had a meeting, and everything was great, and, just kind of pointed out these things. How can we help each other, and what can we do to make a difference and make things better? So I promised them that when I came in, we would be having all employee meetings as often as we could, and they're a part of everything that goes on, and I'm never gonna leave them out. So we had that last week, and it was great.
Awesome. Really good. Thank you for all you do.
Yes, for all of them, they're tough. These guys are tough, our
For
PD is
sure.
tough, our fire department is great, so.
We have a good crew. Any new business?
So I'm gonna throw this out there because I can't obviously vote on it, but there was a situation at one of my businesses, and there's been a meter out where the sign used to be. It's never worked since we've owned that building. We've been there for years. It was cut a long, long time ago. And of course, we just thought it was off. There was never any usage on it, so we would see them checking it. There was never any usage, not a big deal. Well, about 5 years ago, when we remodeled, they came and checked it, and they're like, this isn't being used, the line's been cut, you wanna keep it? No, we'll put in an order. Apparently, the order was never put in. Yes, it's partially my fault for not noticing that we were still being charged for the minimum for that meter. But since the new water meters have been put in and some of them have been faulty, my house, that they had to replace, so I've been watching that, and I've noticed, so I started looking back at bills. We don't have the exact, Irma's gotta still look into it, but basically, I'm just bringing it up, so if it gets brought to the board, you guys just kinda know what's going on. She still has to do all the research and stuff on it and see how long it's been and how long there's not been any usage on it and all that stuff. They did come out and shut it completely off today, cause I guess it was never even shut off, so it wasn't using anything, but anyways, so that will be brought up at some point. But yeah, we've been paying $20 a month for the last 5 years that we thought it was taken care of, and like I said, that's partly my fault. I didn't notice that it had not been taken off, and, I mean, our bills are so big over there, so you just kinda write a check and pay it, but, so she's gonna look up and see how long it's been, but.
How's the meters going? Are they?
They're a lot better than they were, and like Commissioner Peterson said, I think so far out of everything, we've had one faulty meter that actually was not reading and doing its work out of 2,000 or 3,000 that we have. We're not done, we're halfway done. We did have a meeting last week with, the ODEQ that comes down and checks up on the project, and she didn't have anything bad to say, everything was good. I think we just needed our sign out there at the library was vandalized, and she said that we needed to have that cleaned up and replaced if it hasn't been. And just the other little paperwork that she needs for that, and if we don't get it, we don't have everything completed, then they stop paying. So we all went into action and got her the information, but we've only had one so far. We've had some mishaps of when we think that we turned the water off and then it's not off, and then it caused flooding in a property, and that's been handled. They met with Cody last week as far as if there's any damages, how they're gonna go about handling it. They'll take over everything. So they met with her last week, and Stu Powell and I last week also.
Good.
No complaints yet. It's actually gone a lot smoother than the first set that they did, and I was stressing and thought it was gonna be really bad, but it's working out now.
Good.
I thank God it was me that it was broke.
And it just happened to be Commissioner Peterson's. That was faulty.
It was just running nonstop. He was like, "You've used 48,000 gallons of water in like 10 days." I'm like, "No, sir. I don't have no pool. I'm not even watering my plants. So come look at them. They're dead." So,
Goodness.
yeah.
Why do you always have a problem?
I told you, I walk around with a dark cloud on my head and no rain. I don't know.
All right, any more new business? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Vote?
Huckabee.
Yes.
McCaslin.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Manasky.
Yes. Adjourned.